want to do something different. Okay. Check this one here. Fantastic.
It's good that you stay dry. We are here in Hong Kong, very wet.
Oh yeah. Now, as you can see here, look, wonderful day. So the moment we do not have too many problem of this. So
you finished the harvest already?
yes, no, not actually. We will finish probably this week, and we are still harvesting the last rows of Nebbiolo. As you know, Nebbiolo is the last ripening variety that we have. So we are now harvesting. Actually, I mentioned to Graham a couple of minutes before that we harvested berry vineyards and Gallinotto as well this morning. So we have the grapes of Gallinotto just down there.
Excellent. Do you need to help down there in the field to pick some grape?
Sorry?
Do you need to go down there to help them to pick some grape?
Yeah. Of course, we need some helps to collect them.
Have you finished all the harvest already?
No. There are depends as you can imagine. The harvest depends, obviously, considering the zone, the area. So there are some areas that they will still have to be harvested. I think that probably in 10 days everyone will finish, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Probably Monforte or Serralunga or other place. Maybe they may need a little bit more time to get the perfect level of ripeness.
So is Lamora harvest a little bit earlier compared to other?
No, it depends. I would say that it depends because, for example, La Morra, as you know, La Morra it's the biggest commune for the production of Barolo. Almost the 30% of the Barolo, the total production of Barolo comes from La Morra. And as you can imagine, such a big area has many differences in terms of altitude, exposure, and so even in terms of producers, so every producer has its own style. So they decide the level of ripeness of the grapes. I would say that La Morra has a long harvest period. For example, we harvested more than 1 week ago the grapes from the Annunziata, while the berry ones has been collected today. So as you see, 1 week, 10 days more to get the perfect level of ripeness.
Yeah, and also the berry vineyard is located a little bit higher.
Absolutely, that is the reason. For example, Annunziata is located, Annunziata or Briccolucciani, where we are now, where we have the winery, is located at 250 meters more or less, and Berry it's almost the double. It's 480 meters. So such a big difference in terms of altitude, obviously, require more time to reach the ripeness. More winds, bigger. More significant differences in temperatures between day and night, and so all of these obviously makes longer the ripening season. So that's why Berry it's one of the last vineyard that we harvested.
Fabio, let's get started, shall we?
Sure, of course.
So do a short introduction in Cantonese and then English and introduce you.
Fantastic. Okay. Let's do that.
好。Hello， 歡迎大家又翻到嚟我哋 Watson Sour 啦。咁今日8號風球，咁可能好多人都唔需要翻公司做嘢啦。咁最好咧，咁當然就係留喺屋企安全。咁啊，大家一齊飲酒，一齊睇下 Watson Sour 啦。咁我哋上個禮拜我哋有Federico 啦，就喺Cerreto 嘅酒莊，咁啊介紹咗好多唔同嘅村落啊。係同 Barolo 咧都有好多唔同嘅村落，有唔同嘅 terroir。咁今日咧，我哋就有 Mauro Molino。咁 Mauro Molino 係一個細好 boutique 嘅 family estate， 就喺 Lamora 嘅。咁 Lamora 呢個村落咧，做咗啲酒出嚟咧，比較優雅、花香、柔和啲嘅。咁Mauro Molino 就係1979年成立啦。咁而家就去咗第2代傳人啦。咁啊，而家 Matteo 同埋 Martina 就接管，然後咧，咁佢哋接管咗之後咧，就將個 quality 咧就越嚟越提升啦，同埋啲分數啊，同埋啲獎項啊，就越嚟越多啦。So hello everyone, welcome back to Watson Sour. And it's a typhoon number 8 today, so I believe a lot of people doesn't have to go back to office to work. So the best activity during the typhoon is like stay home, drink Barolo, and watch What's in Sawa with us. And so last week we have Federico to introduce us at different villages in Barolo area. So the different villages have different terroir, producing different style of wines. So today we have Mauro Molino to join us in What's in Sawa. They are from La Morla village. La Morla village produce Barolo with a more perfume, more fragrance, and more elegant style of Barolo. So Mauro Molino is a small family estate. So he is now in charge of the second generation, Matteo and Martina. So they further increase the quality of the wines, as well as getting more award and also high points from different wine critics. So on the other side of the camera in Hong Kong, we have Ben here, our senior trading manager. And on the other side of the world, in Italy, we have Fabio, the export manager for Mauro Molino. So hello, Fabio, welcome joining us in the typhoon day here.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful weather in Italy, I think.
Absolutely stunning. As you can see, the weather here is fantastic. Very sunny day. I'm very just in shirt, and this is crazy considering that we are in the middle of October, but the weather is fantastic. We still have, I think, more than 20 degrees, so it's fantastic to enjoy, perfect temperature to enjoying a glass of Barolo outside on the terrace.
Really?
Yeah. So Fabio, before we start, we talk about food. Apart from the Barolo, that where you guys are famous for, and so you're also now in season for one of the magical food we can find in the world, but only available in Alba.
The truffle.
How's white truffle?
White truffle, it's difficult to describe because you can find actually truffle all over the Italy and even in other part of Europe, in other part of the world. The question is that Alba, the terroir of Alba is fantastic and is unique for
here as well.
you have, but the difference is in the flavor. As you know, it's a part of the roots of the plants, and so it's not possible to grow truffle artificially. So we cannot plant truffle and to collect truffle on our own. We need, for example, some dogs. I see Graham, you have one perfect help for finding truffle, so you can find it. Just have to teach him how to do it, but it's fine. It's really actually the famous Alba Fair is just started last week, so we are in the beginning of the season, and it will last until December, so quite a long season.
Yeah, the reason why I bring this up is because it's white truffle and Barolo, they're always together. It cannot separate.
It's a fantastic pairing. Yeah, it's super fantastic pairing. It is due also because consider the terroir more or less is the same, so you can recognize some truffle notes even in some Barolo. Not in all the Barolos, of course. Some Barolo has more truffle notes, and some Barolos are better to pair with truffle than others. It depends, of course, the characteristic of every single wine. For example, for the two Barolo that we are going to taste today, I would say that Barolo Classico is better with truffle than Barolo Gallinotto. Gallinotto is more freshness, is more balsamic. So this one for me, it's absolutely stunning. I think you also have paired this on your wine dinner that you will have next week.
Oh, yes.
So before we go into the wines, can you tell us a little bit background of the family? So when did the family start making wines, and when did the family purchase the first vineyard?
Sure. Consider that Mauro started his career in the winemaking in the early 70s, working as an agronomist in other part of Italy, so in other region, especially in Emilia-Romagna. When his father passed in 1979, he decided to come back to Piemonte in La Morra and to take over the family vineyards. And so in 1982, the winery has been established, and he released his first wine, which actually was a single vineyard Barolo, because the family already owned few vineyards since the 50s. For example, Bricco Luciani and Conca. Bricco Luciani is where we have the vineyard when the family house is located. and it's been owned, as I said, since the 50s. So the family used to produce grapes before to produce wine, as normally happened in the past. Speaking about Barolo area, most of the producers that are present now, in the past were grape grower before to being winemakers. And the Molino family also used to do like something like that. And so Mauro started to make wine in the 82, actually a little bit earlier, because the 82 was the date of the release of the first wine, which was a single vineyard Barolo. And after some few years, he started to buy new vineyards. So in the 90s, he started to buy new vineyards in order to increase the production and to grow up the company. So,
all the vineyards are located in Molino?
No, actually, most of the vineyards are located here in the Barolo area, especially in La Morra. We are proud to say that we are in La Morra because, as we mentioned before, La Morra is the biggest commune, the biggest municipality for the production of Barolo, and so has so many differences within its terroir. And we are focused on the production of single vineyard Barolo, for example. All of them are located under La Morra municipality. But if you consider other production, focus production, like, for example, the Barberas or the Nebbiolo, the vineyards are located in other area. For example, in Guarene, which is just on my back, the other side. Barbera d'Asti, which is in Costigliole d'Asti, so in the Asti province, a few plot of land, and a small plot also in Perno, for example, another MGA, another commune under the Monforte municipality for the production of Barolo. So,
as far as I understand, the traditional style of Barolo is a blend of different commune and different vineyards to create a balanced Barolo wine. So a lot of traditional producers only produce one Barolo, which is a classical, the mix of all the vineyards. So is Mauro on the day one, he wants to make single vineyards Barolo?
Yes, the idea when he started to make wines, consider that the family owned a few vineyards here in La Morra, and Mauro wanted to break up with the tradition, wanted to create something new, which is a signature, you know. And since he is still now an agronomist, he was very, very conscious of the potential of the Conca vineyard. So he decided to make a single vineyard Barolo from Vigna Conca because he wanted to show the expression of the kind of vineyard that, in his opinion, had the incredible and unique characteristics. And so he did. He started to make just a Barolo from Vigna Conca.
So exactly, this first vineyard they purchased.
Yes, it's the first vineyard that we have been used for the Barolo with under Mauro Molino brand. So it's our first Barolo. As you can see, Conca literally means it's the shape of the vineyards, which is an amphitheater. So the microclimatic conditions there are very, very particular. It's very stable. So the ripening season of the grapes is very stable, as I said, yes. And this is the family, so we can see the family together. Now we are, the family is, the winery is run by the second generation, so Martina and Matteo. Matteo is our enologist, and he joined the company in 2003, while Martina is younger, and she's in charge more on the commercial part with me and my colleague Sara. Mauro actually is still in the winery, of course, and he controls everything. You know, he goes around and check the vineyards, etc.
I still remember when Mauro and Martina visited us, I think 4 years ago. So we organized a tasting and dinner. So I still remember Mauro is very kind, very nice gentleman, very gentle.
Yes, it is, absolutely. He's very nice. Absolutely. Now he's just involved in make grandpa, because Matteo and Martina now has a child as well. So he's very busy to do nonno, we said in Italy. So it's grandpa full time at the moment.
Nice. So maybe let's go to the wines. So
absolutely.
So I believe Ben get the classical Barolo.
Yeah.
On your hand. So what
Yes, I
vintage
do.
is it?
It's 2017.
2017. Yes.
Yes.
So how was the vintage? 17.
The vintage was good. Was quite warm. The fantastic things of the 17 is that even if the harvest that was early than usual, we normally do the harvest in this period, so the middle of October. We did the harvest in the last days of September, the first days of October in 17. September in 17 had very significant, important differences in temperature range between day and night. So the grapes, even if they ripened quite fast, but they preserve and they retain the freshness and the acidity. So what we have now, it's a very well balanced Barolo. But considering our Classico, one of the most important things are the vineyards from which we collect the grapes. Because when Mauro bought the new vineyards in the 90s, the idea behind the Barolo Classico was to produce a very well balanced wine. So the most important thing is to have vineyard located in different parts of the Barolo area with different characteristics. So he started to buy vineyard in La Morra because he wanted, he wanted to show the differences between La Morra terroir, but even in Perno, because the Perno under the Monforte municipality, generally speaking, the grapes from Monforte gives structure, give the bones of the wines. So also the aging potential. While the grapes, generally speaking, of course, the grapes from La Morra give more aromaticity, elegance, freshness, and approachability as well. So Barolo Classico is made with the grapes coming from 3 different vineyards, 2 of them located in La Morra, so Annunziata, which is just behind me, on the other side of that hill, there, the other side. Berry, which is the other side of the La Morra village. And the third one is located in Perno.
So
different characteristic, of course.
So Graham would drink has a different bottle compared to mine. So he's not drinking the same bottle. I just opened it, I think 15 minutes ago, and here in Hong Kong, many people say, "Oh, Barolo, they love Barolo, just like Great Burgundy." They said, "Oh, I need to open up like maybe way beforehand. They serve at dinner."
But now, 2 days earlier, 1 day earlier.
Yeah, to plan it, or even open for a week to taste it. But now I just opened it 15 minutes ago, and it's already very approachable. As you said, 17 was slightly warmer vintage, but I don't feel the heat. I don't feel the alcohol. I found it very elegant, balanced. The freshness that you just mentioned. It's beautiful wine.
This is exactly what I meant before. I mean, for us, Barolo Classico, it's our ambassador all around the world in terms of style. So it's a dynamic wine, but very linked to its tradition. So it's the most traditional Barolo that we make. And as a winery, one of the pillars, one of the most important things that we want to transfer with our wines is that we want to show the aromaticity and the elegance and the approachability, of course, of La Morra. That is the 2 main characteristics that you can recognize generally in wines coming from that part of Barolo. And you can recognize this kind of characteristics in all our wines, from the Barbera to Barolo Conca. It's something that for us is very important. I always try to think when I open a bottle, but not just Barolo, but in general, when I open a bottle, I said, I will finish this bottle. If the answer is yes, probably it's because the quality is very good, and the approachability and the drinkability, of course. I noticed that in the last years, probably one of the most important things for the customers right now, not just in Italy, but even in other parts of the world, is the search for the approachability and the drinkability. Personally, I don't want to wait so many years to open a bottle of wine, so I love to drink it. So personally, but then, of course, this is subjective.
I totally agree with you. I'm drinking it. I'm not just tasting it.
Yes, Barolo Classico, for me, it's very crunchy fruits. You can feel the acidity, but you can also feel some spiciness, some sweet spicy, some truffle notes as well. It's very young, but has a lot of complexity. So you can range from the fruitiness to the spiciness to some secondary characters. So you can feel not the wood character, but you can feel the softness of the aging in big barrels. This Barolo is aged in big size French oak barrel,
Okay.
so 52 hectoliters for 18 months and then 1 year in bottle. So it's a very traditional vinification. And so for this reason, you can recognize all this kind of freshness of this kind of fruitiness as well. So we go from red berry, some smoked flavors, some truffle notes. This kind of complexity for me, it's amazing. It's something that you recognize in Barolo of high quality. One of the most important things to get the complexity, obviously, is to get very ripe and very healthy grapes from the harvest. And I have to notice that in the last years, we've been very, very lucky, as you can see, okay? Very lucky and very we pointed out a lot of attention to the grapes coming from the vineyards.
Absolutely.
Some violet, of course. You can also feel some floral notes typical from Barolo. So violet, rose petals, they are quite common to find it in Nebbiolo, generally speaking, in Nebbiolo grapes.
So do you only use the big barrels?
No, actually, this is another very important question. Mauro, in the very beginning, since he established and he started to make wines in the early 80s, he was strongly influenced by the modern style, the so-called modernist, you know. And but now, especially when Matteo joined the company, the style of the winery is not to focus on a special philosophy, but to do vinification according to the style of the wine that you want to produce and according to the vineyard that we have. So every vineyard actually has a little bit different kind of vinification. So for example, Gallinotto is made with another kind of vinification in order to express better the differences between the Gallinotto vineyard compared to the other one. So as you can see in the winery, we have the big size barrels and the barrique as well, barriques or tonneaux. So we use both of the style, I would say. Both the traditional style using the big size barrels and the modern, the so-called modern style using the barrique. It depends, of course. I would say that this is the best things that we can do in order to show the differences between the terroir of La Morra. Not to be focused on a specific philosophy, but to enhance the characteristic of single vineyards.
How would you describe the style, the house style of Molino wines across the bottles?
Yeah, I would say that we are not traditionalists. We are not modernists. We are, maybe we can say that we are in the middle. We use both of the styles. So it is a thing that I noticed even more and more in the years. In all the majority of the producer, there is not so marked differences like in the past between the two styles. Now the tendency is to use both styles according to the vineyard. There is more the tendency to produce single vineyard wines, single vineyard Barolo, and so the tendency for me is to use both styles. You can still found in Barolo, of course, some producer very traditional, some other very modern. But I would say that the majority of the producer now use both of the style, and we are one of them. So we use both the barriques and both the large oak barrels.
Taking the best part of different style.
Yes, I think it's the best thing to do in order to enhance the characteristic of the grapes. Not every vintage goes well with barriques. Not every vintage goes well with the large barrels. I think that the best thing is to be flexible between the styles.
Ciao, Connie. Are you drinking Barolo as well?
Ciao,
Connie.
Fabio. Ciao,
Ciao,
Ben.
Connie.
Ciao. Sorry, I had some problem with the connection here. It's a very bad day today. I am in Abruzzo at this moment, so it's it's kind of winter time.
No problem. We have typhoon in Hong Kong.
I know.
I have a typhoon here as well. You can see that?
Yeah, typhoon. Yeah, it's beautiful day there.
Absolutely stunning. Yes, it's wonderful.
So Graham, are we going to show the audience that the vineyard, or are we going to take a quick tour? From Italy. Right?
So Fabio, maybe you can take us have a look of the new tasting room, which is very beautiful, which you showed me before. And after that, we can taste the Galilotto inside. Shall we?
Okay, of course. No problem. Absolutely. Okay. So just let me bring my phone here. So as you can see here, we are in Bricco Luciani. I'll show you if I can turn. Okay, so this vineyard just down the tasting room, this is Bricco Luciani. As you can see, it's half hectare. This is one of the two oldest vineyards that we have.
How is it?
It's less than half hectare.
Oh.
And the average age is 50, 60 years old.
Okay, well, it's quite old.
So this is the rooftop of our new tasting room.
Very nice.
So yes, look at the amazing view that we have. We are 360 surrounded by the hills of the Barolo area.
Nice.
Yeah. And let me see. Oh, I want you to show also the grapes from Barri. Today, this morning, we have harvested the grapes.
The grapes.
From the Nebbiolo grapes from Barri vineyards, included the Gallinotto one. Let me show you so I can also show you the quality of this vintage that is amazing.
So how's the vintage this year? Is it a warmer one or cooler one? Or
it's fantastic, the vintage this year. It's a little bit drier, but last week we had a lot of some rainfall, so the quality is fantastic. Look at that. The quality is amazing. No mildew. No mildew, no nothing. So look, these grapes is amazing. Perfect.
Nice.
Perfect.
This is a Nebbiolo?
Nebbiolo grape.
Nice.
All Nebbiolo coming from Barri. And voila, that's it. Now the guys are preparing for the pressing, the crushing, sorry. This morning we pressed some grapes as well. Crushed. So. Well,
this is all the steps.
Yes, and this is. Let me wait. This is our new tasting room, as you can see.
And your office.
Yeah. Okay. I show you also the inside. Okay. Now here we are. The tasting room.
Very nice.
Yeah. This is a dream of the second generation. It was a dream of Martina and Matteo. They wanted to create the place for all the friends, partners, the clients, in order to host them in the very best way possible, and to enhance the characteristics of the wine as well. So as you can see, you've seen all the windows behind me, to taste the wine in the middle of the vineyards, and also to enhance the characteristics of our one of our two oldest vineyards that we have, which is Bricco Luciani.
Nice.
So when I was there, well, it was a long time ago. It was the old cellar. So Graham, when you and Connie went there, were it renovated?
In 2018, yeah, but was in construction, yeah.
Yeah, we finished the construction in May, actually. So it's brand new tasting.
Yeah.
Very brand new one.
Amazing.
It's very nice office to work in.
Sorry?
It's a very nice office to work in.
It is, absolutely. We have also the office here. So on the other part, we also have the offices. for the administration, for export, for hospitality. So we transferred everything from the family house to this part of the winery.
So Graham, before we talk about the next wine, so you and also Connie been there, and looks like the size of the winery is not huge. So it's a family-owned, small-size family. Would you say that?
We owned around 20 hectares of vineyards with a total production of around 160,000 bottles. So we are, I would say, for this area, small, medium size, more small size winery.
Fabio, don't drink all the Barolo. Save some for Hong Kong market.
I try, but it's difficult, you know. It's very difficult to resist. I walk around to the winery from the barrel, and I want to taste all the Barolo, and it's quite difficult to resist. You know, all the new vintages. Now, for example, if we have in the barrel the 20 and the 19.
So Connie, while you're still in Italy before you came back to Hong Kong, so this is a task for you to secure the enough Barolo for all the Hong Kong wine lovers that we're watching now.
More.
Exactly. Yes. Actually, I can't wait to come back to Hong Kong. It's a very long time. So I hope everything.
We miss you.
Yes, me too. Yes. Fabio, but you will participate at the special edition of Vinitaly this
No,
year.
we decided to not participate in special edition in October. I think is it in October, right?
Yeah, 10 days. So next week, 7 or 8
we decided
days.
not to participate because it was too early. Would have been difficult to organize everything, and we decided to skip to 2022 directly.
Okay.
So we'll do Vinitaly in April 2022.
Yeah, the next year. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So here comes our next wine. So it's called Gallinotto. So I believe it's a single vineyard, right?
Gallinotto, it's a single vineyard, but for us, it's a very important wine. I mean, in terms of the meaning that this wine has for the family, it's very important. Consider that Mauro started to buy new vineyard in Barry in the early 90s. And he noticed it because he was really curious to do some experiments, to start vinifying the grapes from that part, Nebbiolo grapes from that part of La Morra. There were not so many producers that had Nebbiolo vineyard in this part because it's very high. So it's quite difficult to get the right level of ripeness in a vineyard with this kind of altitude, with this kind of exposure. But Mauro, being an agronomist, he was very, very aware and conscious of the potential of that area. So in 2001, he started to make a single vineyard from that part. And he called Gallinotto because Barry didn't exist at that time. The MGA Barry was created in 2010. So when a lot of other producers started to make Barolo from Barry, but since Mauro had been one of the first, he decided to keep the name Gallinotto, which actually is a name of an hamlet, a small hamlet of houses close to the vineyards, and he decided to register them. I want to make you laugh. Gallinotto literally means small chicken. Just to give you small chicken, yes. There is not a particular reason of that, but it's quite funny. And that
claim is created way before the MGA is officialized.
Yes, exactly. 9 years before. 9 years before. That's why I decided to keep Gallinotto, because now everyone can produce. Everyone that obviously has a vineyard in Barry, they can make a single vineyard from Barry, and they can put Barry on the label. And for that reason, we decided to keep the Gallinotto as a single vineyard name. And Gallinotto, the vinification is different because the location, the exposure, the altitude is different. As I said, Gallinotto is located at 480 meters above sea level.
So
480. So it's quite high. Considering La Morra, considering Barolo area, it's one of the highest vineyards, the highest of the Barolo area. So consider that with this kind of altitude, the differences in temperature between day and night are quite high, and this affects obviously the ripening season of the grapes.
What was the FH height, FH altitude of the vineyards in La Morra, the FH one? 200?
I would say that the average we have, for example, Bricco Luciani and the Conca, which are at 250. Also Annunziata is 250, 220, between this kind of level. La Serra, it's higher. La Serra, we also have a small plot in La Serra. La Serra, it's almost 380, 400 meters, which is quite high as well. But different exposure because La Serra watch southeast. Bricco Gallinotto is a southwest exposure. So consider also that while La Serra and all this part of La Morra is protected by the hills, Gallinotto facing southwest is fully open to the Alps. And this is another important characteristic that makes this vineyard quite unique. This vineyard gets the benefits from the mountains constantly. So it gets the winds, get the breezes, especially in September during the ripening, the last months of the ripening season. And this allowed the grapes to preserve it, to keep a lot of freshness, a lot of acidity. So you can find, compared to the other Barolo, in the palate, in the nose, for example, or even in the palate, you can find more balsamic notes, more eucalyptus, more mint as well, which is recognizable in Barolo from high vineyard, high altitude vineyard.
For me, I'm tasting this bottle at home. I feel it's more airy, like more elegant, and more uplifted aromatics. So a lot of rose petal, a lot of like red fruit flavor, and this is very attractive.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Consider that compared to the Classico, as I said, the Classico is the ambassador in terms of style of the winery. The Barolo Gallinotto, being one of the single vineyard, this is the expression of that vineyard. So the vinification is made according to the characteristic of the specific vineyard.
Okay.
So in the case, we use both the styles. We use both the 30 hectoliters size oak barrels, French oak barrels, and both the barrique. So the aging process is split in two. So we have a part in the, I would say medium, not so, it's quite big, but it's 30 hectoliter barrels, tronco conic, so the classic Tino, the vertical one. And then part in small barrique. And then 1 year in bottle.
So this is Gallinotto, the vineyard. So what is the production size of this wine, given that what a small selection of vineyard?
It's a vineyard of around 1 hectare, single plot, as you can see. This vineyard is the oldest vineyard that we have in Barry, and this is the vineyard from which we collect the grapes from Gallinotto. So this is Gallinotto is made only with these grapes from that vineyard. As you can see here, you cannot recognize it, but it's southwest, and you can see from here maybe a little bit, it's fully open to the mountains, fully open to the mountains. And this allowed this vineyard to get a different level of ripeness, especially during September.
It's really quite high from the pictures. You can see compared to, for example, this one. So at the back, you see more other vineyards, which is located lower altitude.
Yeah. This obviously affect a lot the characteristic of the wine.
Yeah. So Graham. So we tasted two Barolo from Molino. So in your own words, how would you recommend our audience if they want to pick a bottle over the weekend?
So for me, I think the style of Molino is more friendly, I would say. So a lot of people are afraid of Barolo, especially those new to Italian wines. They always think that Italian wine is quite, especially Barolo, very tannic, very acidic and needs a lot of time to open up. But for me, I think it's Mauro Molino. The wines is very good ambassador of Barolo wines that is very friendly, and you can open it and enjoy it. I opened my bottle 1 hour ago, and once you open it, it get a bit more and more flavor, of course, but it doesn't need a long time to air or open up, and it's very enjoyable upon opening the bottle.
So if
I would say
if you need to pick a bottle over the weekend, what would you do? You have some tips for the audience? Because you just mentioned that the style is more elegant, more approachable, fresher, so you can appreciate earlier.
Yeah.
You need to, well, even though that you don't have the classical with you now, you're drinking the more important one. So what will you choose?
look, I would say like pick both. So like
I would say the same. I totally agree with you, Graham.
yeah,
Of course.
and you can prepare with a different cuisine, or different dish, or in the same cuisine but different dishes. I started imagine like the classical is a bit more maybe a little bit more masculine, as Fabio mentioned, and a little bit more structured tanning. But at the same time, for the Galilotto is an other kind of style of Nebbiolo, which is more aromatics, more rose petal, red berry kind of aromas, and which is could be very interesting to compare both of them, and grab them on our shop. We got a special discount today.
Oh, it's not a sales pitch here. We just want to share the glasses that we're drinking tonight with all the audience.
Yeah, but honestly, I think we should get more, like for our customers, we should get more Mauro Molino wines before the price goes up.
Yes, exactly.
No, Fabio, don't.
No, absolutely. I will not do that. Don't worry.
So, but Fabio, for your like personal recommendation, do you decant the Barolo, or you just leave it open to breathe?
This is a very interesting question because normally I'm not a fan of the decanter. This is just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
This is because the decanter as a tool is a very aggressive method to let oxygenate the wines. Obviously, depends the wine, depends the vintage, depends also how much time do you have. Because if you don't have time, probably the decanter is useful to have the wine ready earlier than the normal. Personally, I suggest to open the bottle and then to let decanting the wine into the glass, and to see how itself will change over time, over the minutes. And so the first glass will be different from the last one. And in this way, you can enjoy wine, not just a Barolo, but in general, you can enjoy wine seeing many faces, many different expressions of the same wine.
That's the
if you use the
interesting
decanter, you have the glass the same from the first till the last. And sometimes, especially when the wine is quite old, maybe this kind of method is very aggressive. So you can also put too much oxygen in it, and so has some oxidative process. Normally, I would say do not decant the wine with the decanter, but use the glass. Obviously, you need time. You need depend the wine that you are drinking, and also depend the palates that you have. This is subjective.
Sorry to interrupt. When you touch up the glassware, how we should drink your Barolo. So I noticed we all have different glasses. So Graham has what do you have? It's like white wine or a tasting glass?
I have a dark
general red wine glass from Molino.
Yeah, mine is quite a big glass, so it's for the Syrah, the like kind of thing.
I think yours is bigger than mine.
Yeah,
mine is quite big. Mine is the proper glass for full body red wines, and it's very very fragile, I would say. It's very light, but yes, at home, for example, I do not have glasses like this, so a regular glass for me it's fine. Maybe put a little bit less wine, So if you have just regular wine, regular glass, do not fill it until the top. So you can swirl it, you can let the oxygenation to arrive into the wine. So yes, this is my advice.
Fabio, in terms of, I know here in Hong Kong, people are quite, I would say, they're very serious about every single aspect of drinking wine. First of all, the bottle, temperature, where they come from, what kind of food they're going to drink, to eat with, and for the glasses. You know, we have Cabernet, we have a white wine glass, we have Pinot Noir, we have Syrah. Is it something that I noticed that most of the Barolo producer they use the Pinot glass to drink their Barolo. Is it something true?
I would say that here, for example, in Lange, in the restaurants, I noticed that a lot of restaurants are now using medium-sized, big-sized glasses. So Pinot Noir, I think the glass for Pinot Noir is quite fine. It's quite good because you can see that Pinot Noir and Nebbiolo has some characteristic in common, especially the Bourgogne from the red wine from Burgundy has some characteristic compared to in common compared to Barolo. So for me, a glass that you can use for Pinot Noir would be fine. This is just my opinion, but anyway, as I said, if you told me you have another kind of glass, you can use that. I mean,
we have one question in the chat room, so Graham probably pick it up. Tommy asked which year is ready to drink now. We're now drinking 2017. I think it's quite approachable, and as we just mentioned, both the Classico and the Gainotto, we just opened not long time ago, and it's so beautiful now, so you don't have to wait for too long.
Speaking about the vintages, I would say the 17 it's ready, will be ready earlier than the 16, for example. 16 was an incredible vintage, but probably will need a little bit more time because to get to create and to evolve in something more complex, to have more complexity and to have more characteristics. 15, 17, 14 as well. 14, even if it's considered like a bad vintage, for me, 14 has been a very interesting vintage because it was not bad, it was difficult. And 14 gave a very fine wine, very elegant, maybe with less structure, maybe with less aging potential, but 14 is a wine that you have. Open it right now, and it's fantastic. It's very elegant, it's very fine. 17 will be ready, in my opinion, in 3-5 years for the Classico. I'm saying these years because I'm not a fan of a super old Barolo. I prefer to drink Barolo when they still have some freshness. So of course, if you want to age our Barolo Classico, you can age it up to 20-25 years. Barolo Gallinotto up to 30-35, it's fine. But depend what's your palate. What do you want to drink? I mean, you want to drink something fully developed, so with only tertiary character, or would you like to have still some freshness, some fruitiness in the glass? Depends. I normally used to drink Barolo with the 10 years of aging. So 17 till the 25, 27 will be super. Gallinotto is the same until 20, 30 will be fine. Depends also according to your palate. What do you want to
drink? And any new project in Molino, like new vineyards they're going to buy? Although I know it's getting more difficult to get a new vineyards in Barolo area, or any like new grapes you want to plant in the Barolo?
Buying new vineyards in Barolo, it's quite impossible.
Yeah,
it's very, very difficult. Not just because of the price, which
sure.
is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even because there are some law. By the law, for example, the neighbor of a vineyard has the first choice. I make an example. If Mauro would like to buy a new vineyards in Bricco Luciani or in Bricco Luciani is not the right example because we already have. In another MGA where we are not present, so in Brunate, for example,
Sure.
we do not have any vineyards in Brunate. If we would have liked to buy a vineyard there, Mauro could go to the owner and say, okay, I would like to buy this vineyard. He said, okay, but first I have to ask to all my neighbors if they want it, because the neighbor has the first right.
Ah, okay.
Very difficult to get the access of a new,
Sure.
vineyard. Very difficult.
Usually,
Even
the
if you
labor
don't have
would love
money.
to expand their holdings. Usually,
Even if you had money. So, for example, we as a winery, so Mauro, would have the first right on Bricolucciani, on Conca,
okay.
on Gallinotto, on La Serra, for example, but not for other mention.
Okay.
For example.
Sure.
So it's quite complicated. This is very complicated for a Barolo producer. Imagine for someone outside the area that want to produce Barolo. It's impossible. It's almost impossible.
Almost impossible.
It's very difficult. And also consider that the grape growers are year after year are less. There is a lower amount of grape growers and a lower number because everyone started to make its own wine. So consider the number of producers that were present during the 70s or the 60s. Now there are almost 500 Barolo producers, which is the number has increased a lot, and not because the hectares has increased, because the number of the grape growers started to make its own wine over the years.
Yeah.
Fabio, I know that some producers in Barolo, they also make Barbaresco. And what about Molino? Do you only focus on Barolo?
We are only focused on Barolo. Yes, we are only focused on Barolo. As you know, the Barolo, like the Barbaresco, are DOCG. So there are very strictly rules to follow to produce Barolo, including the cellar in the area. So for us, it's impossible to make Barolo because we would have to buy a cellar in Barbaresco, because we would have to buy a Barbaresco, a cellar in Barbaresco. So it would be very difficult as well, and it's not our focus. We want to be recognized as a Barolo producer from La Morra. To expand the lineup and to produce Barbaresco, it's not our identity. So for us, it's not what we want to do.
So before I let you go to have your lunch, and
no, it's fine.
I have a quick question on food and wine pairing. So is there any favorite wine food pairing with the Barolo for you?
Okay, I love the Barolo and egg with truffle. You know, guys, you also choose this kind of dish and this kind of pairing for your wine dinner next week. And for me, it's fantastic. It's very easy.
For those who are lucky and quick enough to join our wine dinner next week, you can see that the pairings, how is it going?
Yeah, absolutely. It is amazing. It's so easy to prepare. If you want to make egg and white truffle, even at home, you can do that. You just need to buy the truffle. It's fantastic. It takes like 5 minutes preparation. And it's incredible. The sweetness, the softness of the eggs, the aromatic profile of the truffle, and the tannins of the Barolo. It's amazing. They goes together every time, and it's perfect. But depends. For me, Barolo, it's even fantastic with medium aged cheese or aged cheese. For example, it's fine. It's really great. This is, or of course, meat from steak to stewed meat is fantastic as well.
So next time when it's available, so we will welcome you in Hong Kong and try some Asian cuisine and Hong Kong Cantonese cuisine.
I do not too much the Asian cuisine, so I'm very curious to be there and taste some dishes from you guys. And so as soon as possible, I will arrive there. Probably in the next spring will be the first moment possible. Yeah. And I'm super happy about that. It's something that I really hope to do as soon as possible anyway.
Yeah. So we wait for you, and hopefully we can travel soon, as soon as we can. And thank you, Fabio, joining us today and to talk about the Molino and the Barolo area and the style of the wines in Lamola. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been a real pleasure for me.
Yeah,
I very look forward to meeting you all, to meet also your fan, your clients there with the some wine dinner. I'm really excited to do that, and thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure for me.
Chin chin.
Ciao, guys.
Ciao.